We would like to acknowledge this land that we meet on today is the traditional land for the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region, and their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. Hi, and welcome to the Adelaide Youth Court. I'm an Aboriginal Youth Justice Officer here to help you understand what happens at court when you've been arrested and charged with breaking the law. Hi guys, thanks for coming in. So what's your name? Who's your mob?
I'm Philip. From my mum's side, I'm Nuttingeri, down like Corran ways, and my dad is Narunga, Point Peters ways, and I was born on Kaurna land.
I'm Gemma. My mum's from the APY lands, and my dad's from Nylinga. I grew up in Ceduna.
I'm Kayla. So I'm Nuttingeri, Kaurna, Narunga, and Yankunytjatjara. Was born on Kaurna land.
So I guess, why would I be arrested?
If the police think that you've broken the law, then that would be the reason they would arrest you.
And then what happens?
You'll be taken to the City Watch House or a local police station. You may be interviewed, but remember that it is your right to have a parent or guardian with you during the interview. You can ring the Custody Notification Service to speak to a lawyer from the Aboriginal Legal Rights Movement for any immediate legal help.
So what is bail?
Bail is when you've been charged with breaking the law, but you're waiting for the court to decide your case. So if you get bail, you'll be able to stay at home or at another place if you follow the certain conditions.
What's police bail?
The police can give you bail if they trust that you'll follow the conditions and show up to court when they ask you to on the next day.
What happens if I don't get police bail then?
If you don't get police bail, you'll come to the youth court as quickly as possible by video link from either Kalana Tapa, City Watch House or the police station where you're being held.
Who can help me at court?
You can ask to speak to an Aboriginal Youth Justice Officer. We're here to look after all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, including you and your family. We'll help you understand what is going on and to support you throughout the process. We'll also help the judge understand what your life is like as an Aboriginal person.
Well, can I have a lawyer?
Absolutely. All young people coming into this court should have a lawyer representing them. You can ask Aboriginal Legal Rights Movement to represent you, and if they can't, a duty solicitor from the Legal Services Commission can help, or if you prefer, you can have a private lawyer through the legal aid application process.
How does the court decide if I broke the law?
The court decides if there's enough evidence to show if you broke the law. That's when the judge will listen to a prosecutor, which is the person from the police, who will tell the court what they say you did, and then the judge will listen to your lawyer about what you say happened. This will not happen straight away. Until then, you might be able to get bail.
How do I apply for bail? And how does the court decide bail?
So your lawyer can apply for bail for you. The judge looks at the seriousness of the charges, if they can trust you to follow your bail conditions, if you have a safe place to live, and if they can trust you to come back to court on the next occasion. They will think about your safety and the community's safety when deciding if you can have bail.
What is a bail remand information report?
So it's a report that Youth Justice write to let the court know where you can live and any conditions that should be on your bail.
Okay, well, what if I don't get bail?
So that's called being remanded in custody, which means that you'll stay at Kalana Tapa until your next court date.
Will the judge know what I do at Kalana Tapa?
Yes, so Youth Justice will give a report to the court. The judge will want to know about your life and what you've been up to while in custody.
Well, what does being remanded on bail mean?
So if you've been remanded on bail, you can leave court after being charged with an offence. You'll sign a bail agreement at the registry, which means that you agree to come back on the next hearing.
What will the bail agreement say?
So it'll tell you what you must do and what you can't do. These are conditions. For example, it'll say where you need to live and that you must not leave the state. Now let's just have a look at some bail conditions.
What is a no contact condition?
So it stops you from being close to or talking to another person. You may not be able to have contact face-to-face via phone calls, texting, or any social media or internet.
What does exclusion clause mean?
So this means that you aren't allowed to do something. Often it means you can't go to certain places.
What is supervised bail?
So this means Youth Justice will check in on you. You'll need to report to Youth Justice within 2 working days of the court hearing. If you don't report, your bail may be taken away and you may be remanded in custody instead.
What does electronic monitoring mean and how does it work?
So that requires you to wear an electronic ankle bracelet. So if it's home detention, electronic monitoring, you need to stay at an address of your bail agreement and are not to leave without permission from Youth Justice. If it's an electronic monitoring curfew, you may have to be home between certain times. Youth Justice will supervise you while on home detention and you must tell them if you need to go out somewhere.
So what are the firearm conditions?
So if you're released on bail, you're not allowed to carry a gun, any part of a gun or any ammunition.
What does drug and alcohol testing condition mean?
So it means that you'll be tested for drugs and alcohol while you're on bail.
Okay, well, what is a guarantor?
So a guarantor is someone who says to the court that you will follow your bail agreement. This could be a parent, auntie, uncle, grandparent or guardian. If you don't follow your bail agreement, the guarantor may have to pay money to the court.
What if I need to change my bail?
So to change your court bail, you will need to go back to court. Your lawyer or youth justice worker can ask the judge to decide if it can change. If it is police bail, you'll have to go back to a police station and ask them to change your bail agreement.
And what happens if I don't do what my bail says?
So you may be arrested and brought back to court. Your bail may be taken away and it could mean police or court may not give you bail in the future.
Well, thank you for explaining that. If I have any more questions, where should I go?
So you can definitely speak to the Aboriginal Youth Justice Officer. We're here to support you where we can and when we can with any questions or just being in court in general.